Guests, James Peterson and Katie Black. Kim made a motion to go into executive session. Ken seconded the motion. Charlene asked everyone else but the council to step outside. Council went into executive session at 7:15 p.m. Charlene called the meeting back to order at 7:20 p.m. Ken made a motion to accept Gito's resignation. Kim seconded the motion, passed 3-0. Charlene said to write him a letter telling him that the council accepted his resignation. James said that he was interested in the job, but that he did not want to work as many hours as Gito did. He was asking for $15 an hour and a raise when he got his license. Charlene said that he had to work. Charles said that he had to work in water for 6 months and wastewater a year before he could get his license. He said that you need to keep the wastewater pump clean out every 2 years. Terry made a motion to hire James Peterson as our new maintenance man with the stipulation that he would obtain his license in both water and waste within 1 year. Ken seconded the motion, passed 3-0. James said that he thought he might have signed up for water before. Terry made a motion to adjourn the meeting. Ken seconded the motion, passed 3-0. Meeting was adjourned at 7:30 p.m. Charlene was called to meeting to order at 7:35 to discuss what needed to be done with the sewer plant. Terry said that when Charles Schwindman comes to look at it, we will know more about what we need to do. Ken made a motion to adjourn the meeting, or Ken made a motion to adjourn the meeting. Kim seconded the motion, passed 3-0. Meeting adjourns at 7:35.
Reading the minutes.
On top of that, I would like to thank James for helping and solving the wastewater problem within a day.
Well, Terry helped and you helped.
Well,
Yeah.
as far as
Yeah.
we didn't have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there was a lot of us involved, but they made it happen. And thank you.
You're welcome. I live here too.
Approve of the minutes. Ladonna?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I had written down Jack Ginther with an I, G-I-N-T-H-E-R. And you said Gunther.
Oh.
Maybe I wrote it down wrong, or maybe the minutes I heard it wrong.
Yeah, there was a name I was not,
It's G-E-N?
well, there was
I wrote down G-I-N.
Schwindman.
No, this one's in the first.
What do you put?
Doug Gunther. Gunther.
Gunther.
Versus Gunther. I wrote down Ginther when he said it with an I.
Oh, okay.
But maybe he had his card or his information.
I don't even know who it is, to tell you the truth.
Well, he was here at the last meeting, you wasn't here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If there's a
We'll find
correction,
out.
it's what?
I think it's Ginther, that's what I wrote down.
Ginther
And he was sitting right beside me, so I,
for the water, or?
yes, but the
Okay,
rural water association.
Yep.
okay. I don't see it.
In the third page.
The only reason I remember is because my maid name is Gunther, and I would ask him.
Okay,
Yes.
I got G-U-E-N-T-H-E-R. I would pronounce that Gunther,
That's how I would pronounce that.
but I don't know him, so I don't know if that's proper or not.
But we'll leave it like that until we find out.
But yeah.
We've got a card, I know she's got a card over at the office.
Okay.
Do you need his number and stuff? I have it in the office.
Yeah, I just
Correct spellings.
wanted to get about stuff, sorry.
So we're looking at approval of the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I second it.
James made motion, Jason made motion, accept minutes, and Kim seconded. All approved? 3-0, and approved. The bills now.
Caroline, that one we just talked about,
What?
the 792,
Yeah.
that's the check I gave back to you. You already have the
Right.
other one that you gave me in there for the sewer pump.
Probably because I did those before you.
We had the other one in there too.
Yeah.
I had rented the sewer pump and she wrote me a check, and then when I took it back early, I gave her the check back and she reissued the one that says construction rental to me for $264. That's what it was.
Now, I heard it was mentioned that, crop service was gonna pay half the tire pickup. Is that still confirmed?
Yes, it
They
has
did.
been.
Okay, so is
Okay.
this our charge after or before the 3,000?
This here, there's another one over here. That's what didn't crop service pay 1,000?
Crop Service gave us a check for $825.
Oh, I thought it was 1,000.
Okay, we're gonna need that somewhere listed in here, just for records. Because that's obviously not half of what we're
Put it under
we're
income.
paying.
Put it under income where it came in.
Well, we paid it as not an income. We paid somebody to take these tires away.
That's the
That's what we
recycling.
were charged.
Recycling, we paid $3,025.44.
Well, it just says tire pickup. I didn't know if that included everything or,
Yeah, no, actually, we're supposed to have another bill for $221, but it's never showed up.
so that's for the container.
No, all that's for is the tires.
Okay,
The container is the $60 to Lincoln's refuge cleanup track. The $60, that's all they
so
take.
crop service should have paid us $1,512.
Why should they pay
Well-
Say, well, you guys just said it was agreed they were gonna pay half of it. I know what half of 3,000 is, and it's not
But that was
$800.
before, I think this,
my understanding was that they would pay
did they,
part of it.
Did they
Some
pay
of
you
it, they
guys?
didn't say half of it, they just said
Right.
some of it.
this may be after the.
We're gonna get the money back anyway from the grant.
Yeah.
Well, it's not guaranteed, but yeah, hopefully. But that's what was said earlier. They were,
Wasn't, that bill, this is two bills put together, Caroline?
What?
It's $3,000, wasn't that the
she
two?
said that was just the tires.
I know, but tires, 2 trips,
Yeah, probably so. Because they came and picked up 2 loads, right?
Yeah.
and then crop service probably paid the first half of the first.
That very well could be.
And then they, then they didn't realize that there was more, maybe, I don't know, I haven't talked to them.
But what we spent on the tires, what we spent on the cleaning up the trash, what we spent on the food for the volunteers and all that stuff will be paid back in the grant, because we got a grant for $9,000. So
Oh,
they
we
will-
did get the grant secured.
Yeah. And they will
Okay,
pay that
well, I
back
was
to
unaware of
us.
that. That's
They'll
great.
pay all the expenses that we spent, they will pay back to us.
Well, if nobody
Anybody got
else,
anything to say, any more bills, got any bills?
yeah, I make a motion, we pay the bills. If nobody else has anything else.
A second.
Jerry, James,
Jason.
Jason? Jason made the motion to pay the bills, and Terry seconded. All approved? Raise your right hand. Been moved, approved, 3-0. All right. Okay, we're going to go into executive session first here. We want Jennifer to stay and Caroline to stay because we're going to talk about,
That's Solomon.
Or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you said.
Yeah, talk about,
Do we go to the back room?
no, they can all go outside. It's nice, it's not raining out.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fine. You're totally fine. No, you're fine. Okay.
Charlie, you ready for the meeting back?
Is everybody in here from that, this outside? I guess they are. I thought there was more than that one out. I'll call the meeting back to order from our executive meeting. And, we got Sheriff Weigel, court and ordinance. We're gonna talk to him next, since you guys are here.
You're gonna talk to us.
You're gonna talk to us. Well, I don't know what you
Well,
want.
the
what
main
you
thing
do.
is, Beverly's been running under martial law. We're a lawless town, that we need your guys' help on trying to figure out what we can do. You know, we've had deputies told us that they can't even enforce the speed limit. We've had state,
Let's stop right there.
okay,
You can't enforce your ordinances. The reason why we can't enforce your ordinances, number one, you don't have a court system.
okay. And that's, we want to try to set that up.
We can enforce state and county laws.
Okay, the speed limit follow under,
Yes, we can.
okay, that's great, because there was a deputy that did say, he goes, I can't even do it, and then that's fine. It may be a misunderstanding, but we want to do what we need to do with you guys to set up a court system. We don't know what we need to do. We need to work with you and Jennifer, yes. You and Jennifer, and find out what we need to do exactly, and we will be willing to set it up and hope that you guys are in agreement to doing it.
Well, if I may,
Go ahead,
Madam
Jennifer.
Mayor. I think there has to be some discussion about what are the needs of Beverly. And do you want to treat this like a city or not? Because I've been involved with Beverly for many, many years, and I think it's important to kind of understand how that came about. It wasn't like I just kind of jumped in, but there was an obvious need because Beverly didn't have any money. And Beverly was struggling with dogs and other things. And there was a case that kind of propelled that, in that there were some dogs, there was a dog case, and you guys had a city attorney at the time, and the city attorney billed you a certain amount because he came over and he worked on his case. And I think that was kind of a shock, okay? I think it was a shock because it's like, okay, to enforce our ordinances, we have to pay money, you know? So how do we do this? Does this make us money? Are we losing money? How do we deal with this?
Well, I know most of it goes, any kind of tickets go to the state, right?
If they're written as a state ticket, absolutely, they go to the state, and that would be underneath my purview as county attorney to prosecute those. That doesn't then have any separate bill or any financial obligation to the city of Beverly to enforce. So what we did many, many moons ago was, what we tried to do was just be aware of the issues in Beverly, and we tried to enforce them or deal with them on the state side, so that you weren't paying an attorney a specific amount of money each month in order to enforce tickets. Because if you had 1,000 tickets over here, that may even out. But if you have one here and there that requires an extensive amount of money to be paid, that wasn't something that this council at that time was comfortable with doing. And at that time, I had a little bit more of a purview in things, but the state statutes has kind of eroded those issues. So if you have a vicious dog, I can deal with a vicious dog, but I can't deal with a running dog.
Okay, we've already had issues with vicious dogs, and nothing's really been resolved about that. But as far as the money issue, can't we as a city issue the ticket to cover costs at no cost to us?
Not necessarily, because you will have, I mean, we'll have to work that out and set that up, but there's going to be court costs that are going to have to be paid. Some of those will be dealt with, some of those won't. Some will just come in and pay it, and you're not going to have any expenses associated with that. But if you have cases that have to be tried and you have to have a legal representative, a lawyer come in, that lawyer needs to be paid. The city of Sylvan does it and the city of Lincoln does it. So you guys had a court system a long time ago, but that kind of went to the wayside because there was just a lack of funds in order to do it. But what I'm hearing is that there are needs here that you don't feel like are being addressed in the way that we've been able to do that with no cost to you. And if that's the case, fine. We just need to set up a court, we need to get all our ordinances in line, we need to figure out what the needs are, we need to get that done. And then we move from there.
Yeah, my main problem is, and like I say, I ain't got a lot of complaints. You know, Beverly is what it is, but I got neighbors standing outside with high-power rifles shooting binaries. I got a defibrillator and a weak heart. There's times I'm almost dropped my son, scared the hell out of me. I got people driving by my house, between me and my cousin's house, both which have little kids, and complaints have been made about them speeding and it gets thrown out. And I mean, we're not talking about doing 22 and a 20, we're talking about doing 50 and a 20.
But those aren't necessarily city attorney issues, those are county attorney issues, which fall within my purview. And any case that I deal with, I deal with and have absolutely discretion to do that. Now, there's cases that you may perceive as a problem, but there's reasons why that happened and other things that fell in line behind that. You know how it works. That's what it is. But I don't want you to go into the system thinking, in this situation, thinking we need to set up a court, we need to spend this money, we need to get this grant, we need to do all of this to enforce speeding tickets, because that's not an issue. That's a discussion that we need to have right here at this table as to what the expectations are. And is there really a need? Is there really an issue, or is that just a couple people that are upset about that issue?
And I can answer that. If you set up by the bar, any one of the deputies or sheriffs, and do a speed trap, nobody comes into Beverly at the speed limit. They're all doing, I mean, even crop service is taking them sprayers over the speed limit. We get semi-drivers that come down 18, and you can hear them hit their Jake brakes to make it to the cemetery, and then they accelerate enough to be able to hit their Jake brakes again going into Beverly. They have to manually do that on purpose just so they can make their loud noises.
I think speeding.
Nobody comes into town doing a speed limit. Nobody.
No, and I
Can I
think.
speak?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Can I speak?
Sure.
In reference to your speed, I have one deputy that covers 700 square miles. One deputy 24/7. I can't have a deputy over here all the time. My county deputies are instructed, they work 12-hour shifts, and they hit every one of our towns, 5 of them in the county. If they're not busy, they'll hit them twice. Sometimes if they're busy, they may not make it over here. I get over here whenever I can. I was over here this morning. Nobody saw me, but you just don't see it. They're here.
But why not just a speed trap once every 3 months, just to let people know? When's the last time you guys wrote a speeding ticket in Beverly?
Here's what I'm predicting is going to happen. We'll set up radar here, and you know when's going to get the tickets? The locals.
Yeah.
They'll be the first ones.
Yes.
Everyone,
But some-
and then we write everybody a ticket and no warnings, and then they're going to be up here saying, why is the sheriff here writing tickets and picking on us locals? That's what's going to happen.
Well, and they
Breaking the law.
they're the ones that are complaining
Hey,
too,
I've
but they're,
done-
they complain about
I've
a lot
done
that they
things
don't
in my
want you to
past
fix
that
it.
I ain't supposed to, but I ain't gonna pacify anybody. If you break the law, you break the law.
When we get a call over here, my deputies are free or close, they respond to the calls over here.
They do, and I do agree with that. But by the time they get over here, usually the problem is already left.
It's already gone, yes, and in reference to your dogs. If it's just your neighbor's dog walking down the street, that's not very high on my priority.
No,
That's down.
my dogs run loose, and I know it's against city ordinance.
Jail and fighting drugs over here is a major
So if
issue
we-
we're dealing with right now.
I have a question, if we get an ordinance enforcer, like Sylvan has, or, Lucas, we've talked to him, our code enforcer. All right, if he comes in here and he tries to enforce, John Doe down here, his dog's running loose, he can't do that. Is that something that you have to be involved with? Is that something that we have to have a court system for? Yeah. See, and that's what we're trying to do to, we gotta hold people accountable because we have all kinds of lowlifes living around here and,
From what the
they
code
just do what
enforcer-
they want, and it's not a place that people want to retire. The whole town, we're trying to improve it. And I know you are very short-handed, and we appreciate what does come through here when you can. And there's speeders that go down my house, in front of my house like a freeway. Can I do something about it? No, but I still yell at them. But, we're trying to make it work, and even if it's not like you'd have to put a speed trap in here once a week or something, but just if they know that all of a sudden, whoa, all of a sudden they're gonna be monitoring up here, and you only may have to do it twice.
Yeah, because
Maybe
this
you have
ain't,
to do
this
it
ain't
all.
Salina with a lot of outsiders. These are local people driving in here, and that's who you're gonna bust as local people.
And they might not get a clue, and they
And
still will
screw 'em.
speed. But, you know,
Flat
we
out
gotta
screw
know
'em.
which way, how we can make this work, how we can hold them accountable. You know, we can get grant money to help us with the code enforcer, we can get things to improve our town, but we gotta be able to hold them accountable.
Well, with your dog issues, code enforcer can deal with that, but you don't have a dog now. What are you gonna do?
Takes them to
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
They told us, you know,
And see, they just sent us a letter not too long ago,
That they,
so.
They're, they've reopened their, they've reopened it. They just remodeled it and everything, they just reopened it and everything.
Yeah, we supposedly got an agreement with them. I guess we won't know until the first time we try, but
Because there are some things that you wouldn't have to have a court on if they, you know, most people are gonna do it if you tell them, you know, if we set the limit at 12 inches of grass and you gotta mow it, they're gonna go ahead and mow it or whatever, but we just need to know which direction to go, how.
and yeah, there's there's probably 100 ordinances, and we're lucky if there's 6 of them that we're concerned with. Really, you know,
So we just have to have some kind of simple little court deal, I mean, not simple, none of it's simple, but,
and yeah, we just need to figure out what we need to.
Speeding, we can enforce that with the state's statutes. We can
I tell you
Yeah,
what,
and
you
maybe
guys
it's
do a
just put a
presence,
scare
and
in 'em, I
I don't know
don't
if do you guys accumulate any of the cost or the reprise from the tickets? And now that is a shame.
back to the state.
The only way that we keep any money off of any tickets like that or cases is if I do a diversion agreement and the money stays with Lincoln County. Half goes into the diversion fund, which pools eventually into county general. The other half goes into the crime victim restitution fund, which does assist people with property crimes in our county.
And that's a shame, and I understand that for you guys. It costs you money to sit over here, but where are you gonna be? And at least you'll be doing us a favor, maybe once a month, sit here and scare the hell out of 20, 30 people a day. It just might get people's attention.
I will put out a memo to my deputies that work in counties, when they're not tied up with something else, come over here and patrol a little bit more.
Now, if I post a video of somebody doing something illegal, firearm,
What do you
speeding,
mean by firearm? Give me an example.
discharging a firearm in city limits, and discharging an explosive on private property that doesn't belong to them.
Like what, tannerite?
Yes.
Tannerite's legal.
So I can go onto your property and shoot tannerite?
Probably be arrested for trespass.
They don't have permission, and they're discharging from the city limits, and every time the deputies went over there, they go, oh, it's out in the field. We shot it out in the field. And they're like, oh, okay. They ain't got permission from Rosebrooks.
That's an issue Roseburgs has to address.
Exactly, and I do
Call
believe,
us
I do
and
agree.
say, hey, I've got an issue with him trespassing. We'll talk to him and say, if you get caught over there again, we're gonna charge you.
But discharging a weapon in city limits,
That's a city code violation.
yeah, but without. a
so that has nothing to do with state. Okay. Okay, I didn't know if that was a state ordinance that followed underlined with cities or, okay.
Now, what about this contract with the law enforcement? For, what did they say, like $50 to get you guys to come over here?
Okay.
Who writes up the
I'll
contract?
address that to you. We don't have a contract. We have a contract with Sylvan and Lincoln. That contract, those contracts were in effect a long time before I got sheriff. I don't like contracts because a contract ties me down, ties my officers to be at a certain place at a certain time. I can't afford that when I have one county deputy. We don't charge you for any time we get a call over here. We don't charge the city of Beverly. We never have since I've been here, and we won't. We don't need a contract. When we get calls over here, we'll take care of it for you.
Okay.
We're not going to charge you anything. We don't charge anybody else in the county. We don't charge the city or Sylvan or any other Barnard or Westfall
has to do with something that we can't enforce, what's your position on that? Because if it's just a running dog, there's nothing that I can do with that because there's no statute that
Have you
allows
run-
that.
Have you ever wrote
They
a
have to
ticket
have
in
an
Beverly since
ordinance.
you've been sheriff?
Me?
Any of your deputies?
Very few. Same goes for Lincoln, Sylvan. If they see a violation, if it's a minor violation, they usually get off the warning the first time. The
Well, I know
second time
Lincoln,
they
yeah,
go
Lincoln
out,
shuts
it's a-
down 5, 6 o'clock, there ain't nobody out. Lincoln's under control because they got, police department, Sylvan, they got at least one deputy there all the time.
No, that's not
No,
right.
that was over in-
They don't have one that lives over there?
Well, yeah, she lives in
She lives there, but she's not on there.
But she, and that's true, she has a presence, but like I say, Beverly, hell, we had people racing up and down Main Street on motorcycles about a month ago. You know why? Because they can.
They do it all the time, yeah.
Did anybody call the sheriff's office?
No.
We get,
They get too used to it, so they just don't.
We think they have scanners because as soon as we call you,
They're
they're
gone.
gone like that. They put the bikes in a black pickup
I've,
truck
I've,
and
I've
off they go.
called on multiple things, multiple times.
So if we can video them, does that count?
If you can ID the person that's doing,
Or a license plate on a vehicle.
Right.
we can run them down and have a chat with them.
Oh, okay.
And that's fine.
Right. And maybe
That's fine.
eventually they get a
Just
clue
the
and take it out,
scare
okay, whatever.
initial would be enough
We
to
can
maybe,
talk to them about it
Sure.
and say you need to stop, or we want to force it next time.
that would be
Okay.
great.
But
Okay.
you need to call. That's
Okay.
a major problem in Oldham County. Well, this happened 3 days ago.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
ever
Call us.
Yeah.
They're getting back.
Well, like I
to
say,
them.
I've had people fly by my house, and by the time I called, well, deputy gets to town, can't see it, no proof. What can you do? Absolutely nothing.
Go talk to
But
them.
if I get it on video, you guys can at least talk to them and address them and try to scare them.
If you can identify the person that's actually operating
I'm
the
gonna
vehicle.
identify the vehicle, whoever owns it.
Well, you can't.
But that doesn't mean that that person is
Person was
actually
on it.
operating that vehicle at that time,
No, but the owner can tell you who was operating it.
potentially.
Yeah. When they go down by our house, my house and her house, if I'm out in the yard, they're driving too fast, they got their windows down, I'll say, slow that thing down. They do, they pretty much slow it down, but then if I'm not outside, she's not outside, then, they,
Can I ask a question?
It's
Have we got any
obvious you don't know
settlement
who's
on
doing
the
this in your
parking
office.
stuff?
Sure.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Sure.
I,
just
I
got it.
have not yet, because my last conversation was that maybe the restitution had increased. So I'd received some information from the deputy, I have that case, but that's something that I need to know about what is the actual damages for that.
On the park?
On what?
Well, we need to contact the company that produced that.
We
and
already
find
No,
out.
it's just
The
wherever you-
swing set cost $2,000.
It did?
Yes. The whole board thing, the whole setup.
Well, what the damage? I don't think we
Yeah, the
can
whole
charge
thing.
for the whole thing.
No, yeah.
What did the arm and the swings and
And it-
they
It
have
would
that,
be whatever it would cost to have it replaced, I guess,
Yeah,
you know.
the damage,
You need something in writing.
Something in writing on the
you know,
cost of it.
if they damaged a little bit on
so
the
then I can
entire
figure out
thing.
how I need to deal with that, because with juveniles, it's just it's a different way to deal with cases.
Okay.
Well, the
Or you
parents
could buy it.
parents can pay for it, that's the easy way to deal with it, it's all right with me.
If
That's
parents don't have
juveniles.
money, then you
I
ain't
say they
getting
don't have
nothing.
No, you put a lien on their taxes, no big deal.
They don't own nothing here in town.
No, they got a house,
They don't own that either.
somebody does.
Their landlord. Yes, Harold?
Hey, can I say something about your little speed traps and stuff?
Yeah.
You know, it'd be cheaper, I know the police, they don't have enough people to sit around and do a speed trap. Why don't you think of rumble strips?
We talked about that,
I mean,
we did.
you put 3 rumble strips up here at an odd number, at an odd feet, them semis are gonna slow down. They're gonna wanna crawl over.
Yeah, my
You
dad
can, but those-
my dad was currently looking into that, putting bump strips in, not speed bumps, but bump strips. They're wider,
Yeah, just something, because
and he had somebody from the
They're
state
not gonna
recommend
come
we
down.
don't.
well, we got a speeder down. That speeder's already to Westfall, you know, before they get out of Lincoln. Seriously. I mean,
Yes.
put a speed bump in, both sides of the road.
Well, I think that's
going
something-
in
that's something we need to reopen.
I mean,
And do you know anything
realistically,
legally
if you gotta put
that we
10
can't
of
do
them
that?
all through who cares?
That's a question.
I'd have to look into it. I mean, all I want is
We had a guy
practical.
from the state that recommended it probably wasn't favorable, but this isn't on the state highway part, it'd be in our city limits. And it was gonna cost a little bit of money, but we were willing, you know, we discussed it as a council before, and everybody's pretty favorable for it, but then it just kinda went to the backside and wasn't discussed anymore, but yeah, it's something
And when
Well,
he,
I think that's a great idea.
Talking about the farm equipment, you
okay,
know, it's gonna be tough for them,
Well, they have to go
you
slow.
know, they're gonna want to slow down.
well, yeah, even hitting something like that at 20
All
mile
you
an
gotta
hour
do
is gonna jar your
Put a sign
vehicle.
right up there, and it says rumble strips ahead,
Yeah,
slow down.
okay. Well, we'll talk about that at the next meeting, we'll put that down.
She'll find out.
Do you want me to
She'll
put some
find out.
information together and I could
Yeah.
just send
And
over
then-
that to Carolyn?
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
because the
Katie?
guy from, what was it,
Yes.
State Department, that
What?
come in and told us that it would tear up.
They didn't suggest it because they said that if someone tore their car up on them,
The insurance claims.
Yeah.
that we would be sued.
but if we profiled and put down correctly where the sign is, there's people that put signs that say dip. If they don't have the sign, then they're liable. If they have the sign, then they're covered. They give a person a heads up, and it's not a high-speed profile area. They're supposed to be doing 20 mile an hour, so they can't say, oh, I didn't have a chance, I was doing 70, and I blew out my ball joints hitting your bump in a 20 mile an hour speed limit.
I didn't realize
You
that.
know,
But that was just what he told me. He said they did suggest it, they also didn't suggest it because of the ambulance and police and stuff coming in.
And then he did say
they're not allowed to
that
speed either,
this is supposed to be.
unless they have the emergency flashers and stuff on, that's different.
Jason, my only comment to that right there would be, think about the fire trucks going out to the county.
Yeah, I was on the volunteer fire department, and I heard what we can do and what we can't do, you know.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, if they're heading out of town, like to a fire, say down on, that would be.
I understand that. Well, what's gonna happen is a kid's gonna get killed, and then people are gonna
Well,
open
no,
their
I
eyes.
understand that, I understand that 110%.
Because there's a lot of kids that live up there and are walking across. McElroy's kids are always walking down, and we got people coming in town. Not just doing 5 miles over speed limit, we're talking double and triple.
No, and I totally agree on the fact of the.
And it would be an inconvenience. It would be an inconvenience to emergency vehicles, but by the time they get into town, and I've seen the
Okay, well,
ambulances,
go
I've been
ahead.
in them.
Let's go ahead and put this off till next month.
She can,
Arlene,
Can I have one
James,
question
oh.
for? So we've been talking about, I believe, municipalities, you can hire someone to do like notification of your ordinances. Is that something you would recommend or not? I mean,
Yep. I mean, I deal with the League of Municipalities all the time. I don't think it's a problem.
I mean, I haven't, guys on vacation and stuff, I haven't
Right.
called them yet, but
Right.
that's kind of what we're talking about. Are
Right.
we going in the right direction or not?
No, I think it's fine. I mean, I'm the judge over in Lucas, you know, and I have to go over there this month because there was a dog issue. But there's many months that I don't have to go over there and I don't have to do anything. PJ Casper is their attorney, but I mean, you just gotta know, people are you're gonna have to pay for the service. I mean, that's
Yes.
just it.
And if we
that's
wanted-
something that we have struggled with here, doing, because we didn't feel like there was a need, but if there's a need, then we need to change it. If we need to change it, you gotta do it right.
and maybe it'll be a lot at first, and then maybe it'll die down, won't be anything.
Absolutely,
But if you wanna
but
make
what
it
you
better.
don't have is the ability to deal with things.
Right.
That's what you don't have. And I think what I'm hearing is you feel like you've made too many concessions on things and too many things have been able to spiral out of control. And even though we've been trying to deal with what we can deal with, there maybe is some other particulars that need to be addressed. And if you want that, then set it up.
No, that was a question, and like LaDonna said, you know, with help with redoing the ordinances, what about the ones that we have but don't know nothing about? They're blank, they're lost.
That's why you need to start over.
Does somebody
Clean
need
sweep.
to go?
That's right.
Does
Clean
somebody?
sweep.
Huh?
Clean sweep.
Really? Okay. Well, and I
Because
thought
things
that
have
would be.
changed since the
Yeah,
last
because
time you guys have
obviously,
had it.
obviously, you know, because I remember ordinances when I was in grade school, you know, we sit there and went to the courthouse and talked about it, and there was no livestock allowed on roofs in houses in Lincoln. But you probably don't have a problem with that anymore.
And that's-
Right.
So anything we don't have recorded that ain't important, they clean sweep.
Well, I think you need to clean sweep all the ordinances and set them up appropriately so you have them.
Okay.
Regardless of whether or not they're enforced, it's
redo
just
them all.
there's availability
So
for
it's
us to do that.
Okay.
And that's
So
where.
basically, just rewrite the ordinances of what we feel needs to be.
And it's not
And that's
necessarily a
where-
rewrite, everybody's ordinances are somewhat similar, and I think
Right.
that would benefit you guys anyway.
Well, yeah, we want to stay with Lincoln, so it's easy for them to enforce. We don't want to have special,
Right,
well, this is Beverly, so it's a little different. No, we want to have the exact same thing Lincoln has, so it makes it easier
Right.
for these guys to come in and say, okay, you screwed up.
right. And then there's just changes. I mean, with the DUI laws, with other things, even though you guys, once you become that and you have a court, there's forms, there's other things. And so you just have to know that when you make this conscious choice to do that, you accept whatever it is. And you have to be educated on it and aware and make sure you're doing it appropriately.
And that's what we need
That's
to do,
it,
is
Lauren.
know what you present us with, what we need to do, so that we can look it over and find out if it's something we want to do. But
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure it's something that we all want to do, even if it costs us,
Well, and she,
at least for a little while, just to get a little bit of management.
She's gonna
and
try-
LaDonna's, trying to help us,
Yes,
Get
for
grants.
the- yeah, to get somebody to come
but
in here to
that's
help
what
us
we want to do
write-
before
rewrite
we
them all.
waste grant money on writing ordinances. We want to make sure they're enforced. Otherwise, I'm sorry, you're wasting your time.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, you have to be willing to say that you're okay with getting the ordinances and enforcing them.
Yeah,
And stick to that.
I don't think there's anybody that's disagreeing against it.
Okay.
Maggie?
Y'all were talking about these kids that vandalize the park. Are y'all gonna do anything to the kids? Community service, anything?
That's
not
with
up
me.
to us.
That's what she's working on.
The juvenile code has changed this last year, so there's things, it's well within mine, and I can file on them. It just depends on whether it's a felony or misdemeanor, so I continue to ask about the damages to that. That depends. If it's a misdemeanor, it's an IIP program. It's really changed, the juvenile code has. So it's not necessarily as easy as it used to be to get money from people, but there is a mechanism in order to do community service and such. So once I know the amount of damages, then I can figure out what's important to the city and try to pursue that in a way to get that back, if that makes sense. It's just, they changed everything last year, so it's just a little
And should we
different.
have James find out, get more of the parts, and,
Because I have not done
Price.
anything yet, because I've received information that the damages may be in excess of what I was originally told.
Because, yeah, we need to have it fixed by the appropriate people.
But I don't know what those are.
Not to say James ain't very well capable of fixing it, but if somebody gets hurt on his repair, we're responsible. So it's got to be repaired
Yeah.
by the the company, or the appropriate parts have got to be sent to us.
And the reality is, when you're purchasing things from now on, you have to look at whether those are appropriate and they can withstand
They're all gonna
things.
be metal.
yes.
That's just what every park is going to.
Well, yeah, a kid can do a lot of damage. We just had a barn blow down a few years ago from a tornado, but park equipment stood good, so.
Well, they even went in the park one night
He
and
went intentionally and damaged. I can
poked
do it.
holes in our slide all the way down. They
Yeah,
just-
with the railroad spike. I found the railroad spike on a picnic table. Yeah, I can intentionally damage anything. There ain't no guarantee on nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
We did, in executive session, did we not come up with a new council member? We need to
We're done
address.
with Mike, and,
Yeah, I don't want to
So,
overstep anybody if,
LaDonna and I can talk, and we can
Yes.
kind of move in that direction.
and
And then I'll figure out your rumble strips, because I think it's gonna come down to an insurance issue.
There you go. That would be awesome.
And I will get you a price.
yeah, and if you guys have any more,
People need to call us, we'll respond.
and
we'll
we do,
pass that
we just feel
around.
like we're wasting your time because they're long gone.
Don't feel that way. We don't feel that way. Every time somebody calls us about something, we'll respond.
But you guys have to set your priorities, along with the phone call.
Yeah, because I don't call because I see somebody's dog running large. My dogs run across, they stay in my yard, they run
It's a
across
big
the
stuff. You can call
Well,
us.
yeah, and I don't allow my dogs, I don't put up with it. they're little terriers, and they'll sit there and bark and yip, but they won't hurt nobody, but I don't allow them to do that either.
Yeah, if,
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to just address this because I think Maggie brought up an important point. You know, I like to know the information, not because everything not because every time something can be done with it, but there's a lot of different avenues that I can take in order to deal with certain issues. So if I know that there's kids that are out damaging things or they're running around all night, it's important for me to know that as county attorney, because if then they're having troubles in school or they're truant or there's all of these things, that kind of tells me that I need to go with that case in a different direction. So for me, I love the information, and people just need to call stuff in. Because even though you may feel like that's a little futile, it isn't, because that information trickles down to all of us. And if we're more informed about the issues in Beverly, then we can better address those issues later on. That's all we want.
Yeah,
Because the increased communication helps. So it's like the old adage, you know, I don't want to ask the question because it's a stupid question. There's no stupid question. There's no stupid call. But just know that if you videotape a guy in a motorcycle driving down the street with a helmet and he's speeding, we may go try to find out, and we can get the license plate. We may go talk to them. If they deny it wasn't them and we can't prove it in any other way, I'm not going to waste their time and resources pursuing something that isn't that significant when we have very, very, very significant cases that we're dealing with in this community. And we are a small department, and we are a small county attorney's office, and we do the best we can. You know, I have never treated this job as part-time. I always do it and exceed all those hours because Lincoln County matters to me. It does. And Beverly matters to me. You are no different than like Canopolis. You're no different than Lucas. You're trying to protect what you have, and you want it to be as safe and appropriate and a great place to live. We get that. We get it. So let's just figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah, like I say, I can get video and I can
Right,
confirm
but again,
who's,
I'm not
I
gonna-
can confirm who's driving because
Not every,
I've caught him a block away and I run out in the street.
Right, and I understand
and
that.
I stop him.
I understand that, but sometimes in those kind of cases, I have multi-jurisdictional cases where there are significant other ones over here, and if that person is charged with, say, I don't know, batteries over in Minneapolis, then that case is gonna be more significant than a traffic infraction here and have other issues. So we try to deal with it the best way we can.
Yeah.
You know,
But more
and that's
likely,
it.
and most of these people, that's
Not every
probably-
case can be that. It just
Yeah.
isn't. We don't have enough money.
Most of these are young kids that probably ain't got any other infractions anyway.
But again, once we know.
I have a question. Can we legally send letters to those boys' parents and to them restricting them from being in our park?
I will look into that from a criminal trespass. Yes, I know what you're saying. And
Yeah, they were up
yes.
there again, not doing anything, but.
But again, we need to figure out, we can send all the letters, but we have to figure out the mechanism in order to deal with that. Because what I find is that we've done things like that in the past, but then there's a frustration because we're not able to appropriately deal with what we've done. And you feel powerless. And you feel like, you know, these kids are just wrecking all your stuff. So, I mean, I wanna deal with that. So just know that's still on my desk and I'm still dealing with it, but I need to know if that damage exceeds a certain
get it to
amount.
you.
Because that's going to tell me underneath the new juvenile code how I can deal with it.
and I think we all know the boys have done the damage, so we can watch when they're in the park. Because they see my blue car, then they run. They don't, no.
Everybody runs when they see your blue car.
Not.
okay, so.
Okay. You guys, you
Well-
got anything else? Ask?
Nope, I'm gonna go eat supper.
We appreciate you coming.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you coming down.
Jennifer, Mike, Lawrence.
I'll work on this and Carolyn, I'll get with you after I talk to him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
I'll figure out the
Thanks
other
a lot, you guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay,
Who's up next?
council.
Kelly, did you want some? No, I just wanted to listen in on that. Want to make sure we didn't miss you.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Okay, we had,
Did you lock across the street? Lock
Yeah, do you need in there?
Well, or Terry can just bring that
Oh, yeah, I'll bring them to you tomorrow. How about that? Okay. Mm-hmm.
We had 3 letters of intent to run for city council, and one was from Katie Black, one was from Jean Prim, and the other was from Margaret Kelso Peterson. And
Gotta read them.
I gotta read them? Okay.
I think so.
Hi there, Katie's here again. Still would appreciate the chance to try make a difference in Beverly. I bring fresh perspective to old ideas, bring new ideas to the table. I'm great at research and finding out answers. I would like to advise for the people of Beverly. Thank you for consideration. Katie Black. November 2018.
November of 2018 will be 11 years since I moved here from Salina. I think it's time. I'd like to get more involved in my community. I've always wanted to live in a small, peaceful community. I know we have a few problems, residents, but I have to believe all bad things come to pass in due time. I know some really good people here, and I plan to live it out here before I make it to Monroe. Monroe Hill. I'd like to be an aspect of the community. I hear there's a council seat open. If I could qualify for that in any way, I would be really enjoy getting it. Thank you, Jean Prim, 108 North Colorado. City of Beverly Council, I'm asking to be considered for the vacant council position. I feel like I can be a great value to the council and to the community as someone who lives here and who is raising a family here. Thank you, Margaret Maggie Kelso Peterson. Was that all 3 of them?
That was all 3 of them.
Okay.
Okay, they voted, and they voted Maggie as a new council member, and Caroline will have to swear you in.
Oh,
You got the paperwork?
no, it's over the office.
You can cut.
I don't have keys either.
Uh-oh.
You what?
I don't have my
You
keys.
don't have a key.
I do.
Anybody got keys over there? Is there a certain place, do you know where exactly the paperwork is?
Yeah, I think that's in-
Jack, did you need
I
to
can
say
run
something?
over.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Okay,
That's
well,
based on,
we're waiting on Caroline to get back with it.
yeah,
Oh, that you record with them, he's saying.
It's on.
what took place at the sewer plant. The expenses went on. The whole deal was caused by untrained personnel and unsupervised personnel and neglect. And that run up a tremendous bill, and it's completely unacceptable to have the city operate in that fashion. I wondered, when was the last time the council visited that sewer lift station and looked it over?
I've never been down there.
I was there when they cleaned it out, and
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah,
it was not just,
I am
I mean, I
unaware,
would say
of
that,
how that operates. I've never been shown anything,
That's right.
well,
and
and,
I think we should know.
yeah, and we should, because it's rare, it's not, it doesn't look that complex, I mean, now the motor and all that, stuff, but I think it's years of neglect. It has, I don't think it has to do with just Gito or just anybody else,
No,
it's
I
a,
agree with
but
that.
Well, it ran
James seen
before.
it, he know, it was,
It ran before Gito.
Well,
I hate to
well,
say
it was still, it was a lot of, oh yeah, it was bad.
I know, I serviced it. I
Yeah.
took initial training on it. I was trained as a plant operator. I've been to school on it. I know all about it. I could have helped out, but I've been on the wrong side of the political fence in Beverly for quite a while. And I had a night campaign a few years ago where people gathered and decided they didn't want me to do anything, so I just kept my mouth shut. But the whole deal in that falls right back on the council.
Yes.
And he, and,
Not particular group of
Well,
secretaries.
we found out,
Way back.
Right.
Neglect, and look what we could have done with the money we had to spend on it.
well, and, we're lucky that it only cost us the $1,094, because, but James, he's seen it all this guy tore it completely apart and put it back together,
That
and
man comes out.
yeah, it's plugged up.
Numbers on it.
he will,
It's posted
he's,
down there, and you can call that number, you can get information. A lot of times over the phone it gets out of trouble.
And James has his number, and he also is sending us information to have a service agreement once or twice a year,
It should be
whatever we
looked at.
want.
Neglect, that's a very expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah, because every part that we were told by our previous city man that he said he replaced was found brand new, still in the boxes down there and in the city building. He lied to the council and to the city and never replaced them.
It's just a lot of neglect on
It takes
a lot of,
oversight, and you
Right.
gotta stay right on, I'm not saying you gotta call the James line, because I think.
No.
And I don't know who's responsible for following up, because I was told that council members can't tell the city man what to do.
It's went on for a long time, but you gotta get some supervision on that.
Who is responsible for the supervision of the city man? Legally?
mayor.
Mayor and council.
Because we tell them what to do, but outside of council, we were told, because
You got somebody.
I mentioned a few things to city man, and he threw a
Yeah.
fit that I approached him outside of
Well-
council, and I was told that I wasn't allowed to do that.
Well, somebody got it. He, total lack of communication, I'll put it that way.
Well, and I think that, go ahead, James.
I think we're gonna have a lot better communication,
I think so.
a lot better working.
Right.
Well, yeah, you've been involved with the city before,
Well,
and I think that's a great aspect.
we're gonna, get things lined out to where things flow smooth and.
But we got to do enough council, we can all pull together and work together.
Right, and it's, I don't know, just, communication, kind of some
It's
teamwork.
number one.
And, having a good working relationship between, like you were saying, somebody approached, or you approached the maintenance guy with some concerns or what was done or this or that. He might have took it the wrong way, like, you were telling him exactly how to do something or this or that, and then those are things you gotta tap dance around,
We can't micromanage, but we gotta,
Right, that's
we
what
can
I'm
come
saying.
together as a whole and
If,
agree
hey,
with
if there's an issue, somebody brought it to one of the council or the mayor's attention, that this tree limb or this culvert or this whatever needs fixed, you should be allowed to approach the city guy and make them aware of that without an issue of anger or something
Sure,
like that
sure.
arise.
Yeah,
And-
sure.
And I don't think we're gonna have any issues with
No.
that.
Yeah, and that's as a council
Yeah.
member, I expect people to come up and tell me what they think we should do.
Right, because not everybody's gonna like me and want to approach and talk to me. They might be more than comfortable talking to any one of the council members, more so than me. So, or Gino or Bill or whoever in the past was in that position. And whether it gets relayed in what manner to the proper channel to get done,
right.
we just,
But anyway, thanks, Jack, for your
Yeah,
information and,
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of vigilance on the part of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And it's running,
Because they
yeah.
went completely, we've hit bottom here.
Yeah, I think as a city as a whole,
And it's gonna take a lot of volunteers.
Well,
Because
right.
there's enough stuff to be done. If we had 6 people like James working
Right.
24 hours a day for months, you're gonna get caught up with what's
Yeah.
to be done here. It's gonna take volunteers, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Or give all the councilmen a shout.
Well, and that's what yesterday's
Yeah,
meeting
we-
was kind of about, is about getting the committee together to better the community with ideas from the people and volunteers.
You gotta get a lot of volunteer work.
Because he's one man,
One man can't do it all,
Nope.
can't begin to.
so.
Yeah, and Beverly's lost its longtime experience city council that you were experienced to newer generations, like me and stuff. And tell you the truth, I'm just kind of floating the boat. I'm learning as I go, and I'm trying to do the right thing, but I don't know everything. How we're supposed to do things.
It
And
takes a lot of continuing education.
yes, it does.
but thanks anyway for coming up. Thank you, Gene.
Yes,
And there
thank
may
you,
be
Jack.
more time, there may be more council members open. You never know what's
Or if there's anything else I can help with.
volunteer, will need help volunteer for things.
We have lots of plans. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna try to get a committee with LaDonna.
Yeah, and then we had
Better the community.
one guy yesterday said he'd be in charge of, would be a leadership in the leadership committee.
That's what it
Harold said he'd be in the
Part of this-
leadership.
part of that
He
committee.
volunteered. So, I put him down. And he said he'd help you, James, anytime you needed help.
He's relayed that to me already.
Did he? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I didn't know that.
To tell the truth, a lot of the community has, and I haven't received any negative, anything from
I haven't
anybody.
heard any negative.
Good.
Katie, thanks for your stuff too. Keep you in mind. And, all right.
Okay, well, I'm gone.
Okay,
Thanks.
all right, thanks.
Let me know if I can do anything.
You want to swear her in? Maggie?
I'm in a meeting, can I call you back?
Stand up.
Thanks,
solemnly
Beck.
swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and faithfully discharge my duties as a council member, so help me God. Yeah. Yes.
I do.
I do,
I do.
I will.
When's the next election year for council?
Depends on when.
Depends on which
I
group
heard it was
Which
this
one is it?
November.
The next.
Which
Oh,
don't
the
sound
next
right,
position
but-
up for, oh, it
This
ain't mine, I just
November?
was.
Right.
And it is not Kenny, so it's Jason and Kim, one of them. Well, I don't know when you're, it ain't me and Kenny.
I should be up here pretty soon.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
I heard it was this November.
Caroline would be able,
Caroline
she'd
can
have to
find
look it
out.
out, yeah, she'd know.
They all alternate.
But I thought it was
She just
every-
wanted to know which one.
See, I thought it was every 2 years.
Probably is, because
One of, somebody should be.
Let's see,
See, we had one
Okay,
last
Sherry
year, and I was
voted in
told it
this
was
year.
every 2 years, so
Kenny.
it should be next year.
and Kenny and,
It was
No,
Kenny,
Kenny wasn't
Gary,
voted in.
and Terry this last one, so it should be Jason
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kim this year.
One of
yeah.
them.
Okay.
I just don't know if it's this year.
Well, see, it was supposed to be every 2 years, and they just had a vote last year.
And their son's
Because
supposed to
she
be
got
a full-
voted in.
Was it last year or was it 2 years ago?
No,
Last
last year, Gary,
Gary and Charlene were up.
Yeah, and then Terry was up, she really was,
Terry,
Yeah, Terry
and
got
and
voted
Kenny.
in.
yeah.
I was already
All
elected.
in 1 year.
No, no, she was
Actually,
on there by
Charlene
accident, it
wasn't.
wasn't supposed to be this last year, because me and Kenny and Gary were this year,
But because there is an election this year,
or last year, whatever.
they
17.
put her in. She's in till 2019.
Election this fall,
Maggie,
So then
Probably this.
is an election.
this fall.
Ask Dawn.
for you there.
You can ask Dawn, she'll know. Probably be faster. Okay. All right.
Oh, welcome to the council.
All right, old business, LaDonna, let's see, no,
No, we're not.
We're
we're
past
not,
that.
huh? No,
No,
we're
we're not. Election of the president.
not. All right, we need the election of the president for city council.
I elect Jason. He's been on this council the longest, the most knowledge.
I would be willing to accept. I mean, I appreciate the
Yeah,
opportunity.
I agree.
All right, Jason, you will be the president.
Do we have to make a motion?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll make a motion, Jason Anderson is the new council
I
president.
will second that motion.
It's been made, motion, vote, raise your hands.
Raise your
I guess I abstained, but
Well, you can't vote. You gotta
Exactly.
vote for yourself. All right.
Yes, Mayor.
Then what's about the Lincoln Health Department? What do we have?
James.
James?
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes, sir?
I know you're president, but you're willing to take over for Charlene if she's,
yes.
okay, cool.
Oh, I know this.
Because when I did it.
I know the downfall.
I was not
And where's that?
schooled in that matter, and when Chris quit, or was it Bonnie that quit?
Chris.
Chris quit, I was
Chris, yeah.
kind of, oh, you're the mayor now.
Yeah,
So,
and you
just
know,
wanted you to know before you.
well, I have the interest that, and
Okay. That's all, that was my.
I know you got thrown into it
The
too, but
Lincoln
you,
Health Department is having what's that say, I can't, a class, the 6th.
For
on,
that trauma-informed community?
Yeah, on trauma and stuff. At the theater up there,
now do what?
at the theater there in Lincoln.
Creating a trauma-informed community. Primary care, behavioral health providers will be there, or who should attend?
Who should attend?
Education. child welfare, criminal justice, first responders. I don't think that's.
That
dealing
leaves
with
all
us.
of this out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it says city people, it's anybody that'd be interested in learning on how to handle trauma.
Well, I think that's something we ought to look into, is see if we can find out who, and maybe get somebody to come over here and teach CPR classes and set something up.
Salvation Army.
They don't normally, I mean, when I've done CPR, here in Lincoln County, they have it at the EMT office up there in Lincoln, and that's where they do their classes. They might be able to come over here and
If
do
they
it.
have
I guarantee
Or you could call,
At
or you
least
could call
just
the
let
Red
people
Cross in
know
Salina,
where
they
it
could
can be
probably
done
come
at,
up.
because I want to learn. I got a 2-year-old that likes to put things in his mouth, you know?
Katie?
Your best contact on that would be David Dove, Lincoln County Emergency Management. He
Right.
actually set up.
Okay, I got his number.
Yeah, like, he's a good person to contact about that.
Okay.
For CPR classes locally, because they had one down, I know.
'Cause I know a lot of people-
Bob Woody held one, or you might talk to Bob. Bob Woody might.
Well,
be
I
the
figure
better
Bob
contact,
too, yeah.
Because he actually helped set one up down here at Crop Service for crop services people.
Because I know a lot of people I've heard around here are interested, but they don't know who to contact, and you figure it'd just be a phone call, they can find out, but I think people are just unaware of where they can do this.
Another one would be Brett King.
Right.
Brett King would be another good person to ask, the head of EMS.
Central Kansas Planning.
All right. Capital improvement. Caroline, do you know anything about this?
This is
From
just
Dorset?
basically thanking us for the survey and the stuff that they found out from it, and the way that they can help individual people. It's kind of like what we were talking about yesterday.
Oh, okay. More grants, or, you know, you get
Make
more
your
help.
time.
You want to read it? Maggie, you want to read it?
After prom, thank you.
Huh?
After prom, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then,
that's your little.
and we got a letter from After Prom, thank you from Lincoln County, Lincoln High School After Prom with their pictures and all the juniors and seniors. Thank you note from the school. That was nice of them. I think, didn't we get one from Tesket too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Ladonna's already gone. Damage to the park, we've already taken care of that.
I think we're on the city maintenance report.
Yeah, we've already
Grant.
talked about this.
Or did
Oh, wait.
Caroline have anything?
Playground.
Playground.
Playground equipment.
What?
Did you
Circuit
find, you
clerk.
found some playground equipment?
Surety clerk reports.
The grant is right there. We got
$50.
$5,800
For the playground equipment.
for the park.
Yeah.
It's for equipment and for, that's just on that swing set. It's for equipment and reseeding and
Get his new
spraying
basketball
weeds and
goals.
stuff and everything.
And I think anything we buy has got to be industrial, you know, it's either metal or that playground equipment
Now,
like
that
they get
book
at the
that's
schools.
underneath that stuff, that's
Yes.
the kind of the stuff I picked out. I called them and asked them to ship me a pricing list of what else it would cost and what shipping would cost.
And she showed me,
Yeah.
whatever. This-
And then too, Pastor Toby said yesterday that if we
Something like
wanted to
that.
till up the park this fall, that we could probably ask the church, maybe there'd be some of the guys at the church would come and help.
Get rid of them stickers.
Stickers.
Yeah, and you know, that's the way with, if all we gotta do is ask around the community, that's the whole bottom line is, you know, there's people willing out there to volunteer. We just gotta let them know and give them enough, notice, you know.
Well, we gotta spray in the fall for the stickers.
Yeah, I think
Not
that-
before they come up, we gotta spray way before and kill the seeds from the previous year.
And I think some of that is, that whole thing just needs to be graded totally off because you're gonna kill them, but the sandbirds are still there.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think a person go through there and clear cut that and plant some fresh, you know, either fescue or
You
some
could,
sort of
go
grass.
through and spray and kill the stuff now, so it won't seed, but they have different chemicals you can spray any time of year, depends on when it is you're wanting to do it.
But you still gotta get them out of there.
Right.
So what do you do, scrape it off first and then spray?
Well,
it,
it
or
might
what?
take a couple of years to completely wipe them out to where they don't keep reoccurring. They have
No,
to be-
yeah, no, I know, I mean, but I mean, even the dead ones, I mean, it's a good thing.
Usually they say spray in the fall for all your broadleaf, stuff like that. Spray before they come up, and that'll keep the new seeds from coming up.
And then eventually the dead die out and
And
get them
eventually,
ground
yeah,
in.
they gotta be re-implemented
So we just-
somehow,
I got you.
but that'll
Okay,
take
I
care
said
of
that I
it.
would have a letter back to them, which says our project is done within a year
For the grant, for the swing set?
for the grant stuff, because you have a certain length of time that you have to have the project done.
Oh, so we got a year.
Do you want to look at other equipment or?
Yeah, I think
equipment
we,
okay, or?
I mean, I think like, you know, no, we're not gonna buy something like Lincoln has in their
Thank
park,
you,
but
Jack.
find out where they got it, find
Oh,
out
yeah,
the
'cause
grade school
5,000
has, yeah.
5,000 won't
But
cut it on
you're
that stuff.
talking, that equipment,
You
you're
know-
talking
Tons of money.
Oh, no, I'm not.
$15,000.
Not the new one at the Lincoln grade school is small. I'm not talking about the
But that
big
stuff
size
is
of that.
expensive.
Yes, it is, but it's gonna last a long time. And even if we bought one piece for $5,000, it's better than little pieces and then they tear it up. And I like the metal, some of these things, I like
Yeah.
these things you see
The
too.
rubber-coated
But I
metal.
just want more ideas, you know.
But like I say, you're right, we need to go with the metal, but 5,000 won't get you much.
Yeah, how
Because that
long is
stuff
it?
is just unreasonably expensive.
It is, that's why we just need way more, we need to look into it.
But if we get new basketball goals, fix what we got,
So how about everybody bring something next meeting? Maybe there's just ideas. I don't know how much these things cost, but you know, we gotta research this and the rest of them before we just go spend $5,800 on some
Yeah.
equipment, you know?
'cause
We
yeah,
al-
like
we
with some of
also
that,
have
what Lincoln's got, it's
Our
$25,000,
project,
$30,000.
our pop project money, because that was one thing that we set that, set that by for, is to use on that. And we also, I'm going to ask the community club if they will help with some money towards it too, so maybe we can do a little bit better and stuff.
Yeah, they should be able to help.
And somebody also, Pastor Toby, talked about yesterday another, what do you call it, shelter. You know, there's a shelter at that end, but how about one at this end? There's no, or trees. Let's plant some trees on, you know, there's trees right
Well,
here,
yeah,
but the
because
rest
the
is open.
church always has their picnic at this
Sure.
end of the park. and
Yeah, and you know, there's just nothing on this end. I mean, you got the playground equipment, but there's room for a shelter or room for a couple more big trees or something. These are just ideas, and that's part of that community thing that they
I
were
think
doing
some
yesterday.
trees would be a good idea.
Sure.
Pick out some
You know,
good.
parks don't
Sit
get
on
used
the kids are
much
playing on whatever,
enough
I
to
guess.
need two shelters, but I think trees would be a good
I think
idea.
a shelter would be easier on this side too.
Yeah,
The
one on
parents
each
come and
end.
sit with the
That's
kids.
why I said one of
You know,
them.
big
Yeah.
park equipment.
Yeah, yeah, there is more park equipment on that
There's
west
out
side.
there. So anyways, if everybody maybe brings something next meeting or something, we can have some more ideas, trees, park, shelters, whatever. And you know, the shelter thing, that's just a matter of maybe the city buying the wood and we get volunteers to
Oh,
put it
yeah, it'd be
together.
easy to build,
Sure. So,
or just getting the steel
Barn
and having,
raising. Yeah, barn
maybe
raising.
getting a hold of, welding.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that, I think that's what the other shelter is, just all welded pipe.
No, it's
No, it's
wood.
wood.
It's all wood down
It's
there.
wood down
Is
there.
it?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
all wood. Yeah, we painted that several years ago, we painted that.
Okay. So we'll all
but-
bring something on the playground, equipment and
but-
ideas.
I forgot.
Sorry.
City clerk's report?
Yep.
A letter will go out in the water bills reminding the people that the bills are due on the 15th, they're late on the 16th with a $5 late charge, and the water will be turned off on the 21st.
I have something because, and I can't remember who, but somebody brought to me, sometimes they're dated different.
Sometimes they're dated different, but I went back the other day and looked up the ordinance that we rewrote, and on the ordinance, it says the 21st, the water will be shut off.
Okay, but I mean, it's due, this is like what you put, the 15th, and then it's late on the 16th. So the bill has to come out, with the exception of last month. The bill's out on, so they have it by the 1st?
Yes, it's supposed to be out on the 1st, but he had a little difficulty finding it.
No, I got that, but I mean, normally in past, it's always out on the
Normally,
1st.
it's out, normally he'll read it on the 29th
Oh,
or the
okay.
30th.
Uh-huh.
I get them done, they're mailed the 1st, you'll have them on the 2nd, and
Okay, so we have them by the second. 'Cause, yeah, they gotta go to
First or
Wichita now. They used to,
Yeah, they gotta go to Wichita
it
now.
was a lot nicer when they
So-
used to be able to take them down, put them right in the
So maybe we
mailbox.
read them a little earlier and they get out, so they get them on the first. I mean, I'm
think
just,
that
you know, you
Water
gotta,
went up after James told me I had a water leak.
no, but I mean, instead of the 29th, he reads it on the 26th or something, you know,
We'll have
and
to change
then,
the ordinance. It'll cost us $300 to do.
well, I mean,
Not for just
No,
that
I'm
one
not
time.
rewriting
The ordinance
Yeah.
doesn't say when I read them.
I'm
no,
not
Oh,
because
okay.
this way, you know, all these, but then they have it on the first.
No,
And,
I
you know,
understand,
but since we
yeah.
have, the mail has to go all the way to Timbuktu and back, you know.
Okay, the
Yeah,
water,
that
water
gives
and
them a
sewer
full
rates
15
went
days
up.
Sure.
to pay.
Yeah.
The water and sewer rates went up. That's our last of our raise for a 3-year agreement that we made.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So basically, they only went up $5. It just sounds like a lot when it says 25, but between the two of them, your bill's only gonna go up $5. It'll be 66.10 instead of 61.10 if it's a normal bill. We need volunteers to work in the park, you know, when we get ready to set the equipment up and,
Do we got any
Well, we
flyers
don't, we haven't
around?
bought any, well, we can.
you know.
I
the
think we need
kids
to
from
get
the
some
church.
notification out, let people
Well,
know.
we gotta figure out what we're gonna do first.
Yeah, you gotta, I think, figure out what you're gonna do and possibly have a date when the stuff will be here, you know.
And I still
Yeah,
got a
once
ton
we-
of poster
Once we,
stuff I can put posters up around.
once we figure out what we're buying, when we get it here, then we can pick a date and we can let the churches know and then send out with their bill, city bill, and then we'll get 5 people, but it'll be good.
Yeah, we've got to find a better way to get notices out. I think we need to go
Door to
back
door.
I think we need to go back to the barrel in the center.
Yeah, we do that, yeah.
I've got big poster boards
No,
still.
I-
No, in the middle of the street,
Okay.
or like
If
they
you
got
can-
their little metal thing,
I can do
fabricate
that,
something
we
like
can do
that.
that. I
You
mean,
know, because
There's
they
a
don't
barrel
seem to
right out
be, we're
here.
not reaching people.
We gotta be careful door to door. Beverly does have a no solicitation ordinance.
That's
That
all I
would be
have.
Technically,
Yeah, when I
what is that,
asked-
the Greenbrier ordinance?
Hey, Maggie has something.
Green
for you.
River.
My
Green River?
Maggie,
Yeah.
What's been wrong with our bill sometimes is that we have it electronically coming out, but
Yeah.
you do it on different days. It's not the same every month.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
they have the automatic withdrawal,
It
and
goes
it's
out
always
on the
at
fifth.
different days.
I pull it on the 5th. Generally speaking, is when I pull it out, is on the 5th of the month.
Bank could vary by a day, but it should happen at
Depends
least by
on
the
the
next
fifth.
day.
If it's the fifth,
Did you
it's
check with
Saturday, it'll
them?
be on the
Is there a
second.
better date that's better for you?
No, it has come through at different times.
Oh.
I need to budget for it. That was my only problem.
I try my very best to have it out on the 5th. It's not going to be this time because the bills aren't out yet. I'm still waiting on one.
But, and the
I
bills
found-
are
I
going
talked
to
to
be,
Jack, I figured out where to look for that meter, and I can get it tonight if it ain't too dark or first thing in the morning.
our bills they may be up higher this time, but James and Caroline have been rereading them. James has, because they've been ungodly, some have been ungodly, I think.
I think that was last one. Was that last one?
But I think from now on, I don't know maybe whether we need to vote on it or not, but even this fall, this winter, if the weather's decent, halfway like it was last winter, go ahead and read the meters. And then there'll be no estimate, they'll be just reading the meters. And,
Unless there's snow, then.
yeah,
read
if
it.
there's snow, then that's a different story.
Yeah, I think we already got a specified date of what time they read the meters versus
Well,
what time they're prorated.
But I
Well,
don't,
but we're
I
not
don't,
gonna
October
prorate 'em.
till March, they normally were just, just
Average,
average.
yeah.
Average.
And he's talking, he said he would read them every
Yeah, I don't have
month
any
and not
problem
do
with
that
it.
anymore.
Now that I know where they're all at, I can have it done in 4 or 5 hours. I did that Thursday, and
Yeah.
I was looking for them. I had the whole west side of Main Street
Should pay them.
done before noon, and I started at 10:30,
You should
and
spray
I was
paint them.
walking.
Spray
Yeah.
paint them. You should spray paint them orange.
yeah, spray paint, get
Blue,
Okay, blue.
blue for water, green for sewer.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, all right.
I can spray paint them orange for you.
Well,
That's pretty easy.
You got to stencil mine though, so it looks cool.
no, they'll probably just get the top lid blue, that way if anybody else ever has to read them
They
and
don't.
they don't know where they're at,
That's a good
that
idea.
can find them.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's not my idea, that's a common practice everywhere else.
Yeah.
In here.
Yeah.
We got a high gloss at least.
Maybe. But, I'll cover that stuff when I get to
Okay.
my deal.
Maintenance report.
All right, then your maintenance report, Mr. James.
All right, get ready, because we got a lot to go over.
We're ready.
Charlie Schwindeman is a wastewater tech for the state of Kansas. He came up and visited with me. We did a tour of the well house, the lift station, the sewer ponds. He has a wealth of information about the water and the quality and my training and everything. He brought over a zip drive full of the booklets, everything I need to train for my test. He's been very helpful. Doesn't charge the city for any of his information or his time. As far as I know, he hasn't ever said anything about charging or anything. He sent me this letter. He said, "Dear James, I met with you on the 29th to discuss the operation of the lift station and to provide you with training materials towards your certification. I was pleased to learn that the city had hired a contractor to correct the issues that you had with the lift station. You've now reported that the pumps are working automatically as they are designed. You mentioned that the hour meters had not changed with any of your readings since you had started. These need to be replaced as they are not operating. The hour meters can assist you in evaluating the lift station. For example, if one pump operates twice as long as the other, it may key you in if the other may be plugged or has a breaker issue. The hour meters should be read daily, but if not read daily, then at least several times per week. The readings should be logged and records maintained for at least 3 years. We also discussed having someone clean the debris from the lift station and the influence structure at the lagoons. You asked me about weed control and the riffraff around the cells. I always recommend that the system operator contacts their KDHE district office and asks their opinion and their approval. This is due to the numerous herbicides that are available, and most have different restrictions that are when sprayed around water. Also, from our discussion with you and the city clerk, I suggest that you contact KDHE as soon as possible about being allowed to have the permit that you have changed to a non-discharging sewer system before it comes up for renewal. You've been on the council in the past, and you've been assisting with the lagoons at times, and you've been aware that there has never been any discharge from the lagoons in many, many years. Call KRWA, this number, or me, if you have any questions or need any other assistance. The Kansas Rural Water Association receives funding through the USDA Rural Development, and KDHE provides assistance to public water and wastewater systems in Kansas. This letter is being copied to those agencies for that reason. And for news, information, training session schedules, and anything else about KRWA programs, visit the website. Sincerely, Charlie. He sent a copy to Caroline, to Charlene, Marcia Fleming, who is our district office KDHE lady in Salina. Shane Hastings is a USDA Rural Development in Topeka, and Randy Stone is Rural Development for USDA in Topeka. This is going to be somebody I'm going to be in contact with and have a lot of communication with. He's a super nice guy, and he knows what he's talking about.
Now, one question I got, and it may seem kind of humorous, but something you could ask this guy, where the lagoon is completely fenced in, if we provide fresh water, are we allowed to put goats on there?
I could ask him, but I imagine that's going to be a no.
Without fencing off the actual lagoon itself from the animals.
Yes. I talked to him about grass length, because in the past it's been an issue with the council about how often to mow or when to mow and how short to mow it. He said, generally speaking, get with Marcia Carpenter for the exact what she wants, because she's going to be, or her office is going to be doing the inspections. But normally, the closest and nicest mow job you can have is the way they want it. That allows for inspections. It also allows, or keeps animals from burrowing, digging. You see any issues, you can correct it right off the bat. There's a number of trees growing down there in the fence and in the rock that I'm gonna have to get out of there soon, and a ton of weeds that I'm gonna have to spray for. But I need to get in touch with Marcia Carpenter. Or
I can
Marcia
get you the
Fleming.
sheet from her last reading. I said, I can get you the sheet from when she was here last time.
All the,
And she said it would still look like a golf course.
yeah. Okay, while we're still on the sewer pond, Charlie Matthews from Tesket is our licensed operator right now. Mike Adams is the city guy over in Tesket. They came over and helped when we were having issues. I've talked to them. That lift station needs cleaned as soon as we can.
Pressure wash?
Yeah, and at my last job, I did that to a lot of lift stations. So I know what that encompasses. I'm not gonna do it because I don't have the equipment. The city of Beverly doesn't have the equipment. That's something we're gonna have to hire out. Somebody with a vac truck and something that's made for that.
No, it can't be something we can go out to Harbor Freight and buy a $200 power washer and do it ourselves? Because it'll be
You gotta
power
have a
washing
vac
ton.
truck. You gotta have like DJ environmental type truck to
Or who was-
suck that rock and all that
Yeah.
debris and all that stuff out of the bottom. That stuff cannot go up through our pumps.
Who
That's
was
why.
that?
Yeah,
Who is that?
but would it be cheaper if we power wash it ourselves and had somebody suck it out versus them power washing it and sucking it out? That's what
No,
we gotta look
because
at, because
at my job-
might not hurt with the equipment to have a power washer.
I personally have a power washer. They have special equipment.
Yeah.
They got a wand that reaches down in there, and they have a suck truck that sucks it up as they're washing it out. They do it.
Hydro excavating.
Yeah, it's designed, maybe not designed for that, but it works really well for that. And it needs done once a year, once every 2 years out here.
Because what condition was the ladder going down, the rungs?
Not very, I mean, it's still
Are
there.
they safe?
Not by myself. That's an enclosed.
Well, yeah,
You gotta have two people
yeah.
and a lot of stuff, but normally you don't go down in there unless you have to. When they wash them out, you don't go down in there.
Well, even under confined space entry, which I'm trained in, even if you had somebody there watching you, are those rungs safe enough, uncomfortable climbing down?
You could probably get down in there. I think they're safe.
Okay.
So we probably need to get some estimates for you, or do you have some?
Right, Mike Adams recommended,
Deep Creek?
Deep Creek. That's who comes and does theirs. He didn't give me a cost, but it's a necessary evil. It's
Sure,
kinda
it
like-
hasn't been done, and who knows?
I've never seen it done.
I mean, I don't have a problem with them, I didn't know.
See, I didn't know if we had to have that, if we had to have that inspected to see if it was even safe to go down there under confined space entry.
I don't think they go down in there when they do it. We've never done it when I've
They
cleaned
probably
out
use
those
that
stations.
hose thing like when they were cleaning it
Yeah,
out,
you
when they
put
were
a
taking all the water out.
long hose down in there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying for the fact that we have access to the bottom.
Yes.
If somebody has to certify that,
I don't think that.
safety-wise.
I don't think, I don't know if that's.
Because the only reason you guys gotta go down there is if you have to work on the pumps themselves, right?
No, the pumps aren't down there, they're up top.
Just the.
Well, I mean,
Nothing, probably.
What's down there
The
at the bottom of the
tube,
tubes?
Yeah.
It's a concave bottom, well, it's supposed to be, this one's not.
Yeah, it's flat.
Well, no, it's got a concave bottom, but it's full of trash and debris down there, rocks, sand,
Oh, okay.
all that stuff. And that's what's clogging and killing our pumps.
Remember when he was,
Okay.
remember when he was near Jason, when we were down there and he was cleaning it, pumping it out? Remember all the rocks when he hit the
Yeah.
bottom? Yeah.
In the future, I heard the alarm system go off just, right across that field. Do you want me to call you or?
Oh, definitely.
Carolyn,
Yeah.
Charlene?
Call her, call him.
Yeah, he'd be the first contact, and then call
That's my
Charlene.
job.
Okay, I'll have to get.
If for some reason that alarm's going off, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, you don't get
I
a hold of
need to
him,
know
you
about
get a
it, so
hold
I
of either
can-
Charlene or any
I
other
can do
council
something.
member.
Did you put the light bulb in?
No, I forgot that light
I
bulb.
forgot
Did we
about
get a
it.
new lock on that?
The light bulb?
I got the lagoon
Okay.
locked up, but I don't have the cover lock because the hinge is all busted.
Well, I mean, the fact that the lagoon,
The gates?
well, it was, but there was a nail, two pieces of chain. It's got two padlocks
Okay.
on it.
No, this solid, it's,
Okay.
it's a solid lock. There's no, I mean, without breaking it, it's locked up.
Okay.
Like it's supposed to be. Same with the well house. I have it locked. If I'm not in there, it's locked.
Okay, the water tower, there's that cover up there, it's got two padlock openings that hadn't had locks on it, that's probably something we need to look at too, because the kids up there play up there, and they're not supposed to, but.
So since this hasn't been done in a while, should we just go ahead and have Deep Creek come and do it?
Yes, it needs done as soon as possible.
Then I would,
Well,
Uh,
let's get it done then.
Okay,
Yeah.
that would be
So we
my
don't have-
recommendation.
Have any more problems.
Another issue, the water quality, I want to bring up. Linda on the corner of Christie and Third there has had complaints that her water's brown. I went over there and cracked the hydrant and it's nasty coming out.
They are.
My water smells like boiled eggs.
I need to get,
Boiled eggs?
Boiled eggs.
See, I haven't had any
did
problems.
we,
That's incredible.
did we change
I
to
need to
that?
get a flushing schedule, because we just got a new pump and a new chemical that we're using instead of Clorox. We're getting it in 55-gallon drums. It's 12% chlorine instead of the 3.5 or whatever Clorox is, which you're not supposed to use Clorox anyway. It used to be okay, but the state changed the rules and we were stuck in behind,
Yeah.
but whatever. So we're legal there. It's supposed to be a better style of pump. It seems to be working. My readings have stabilized and they're not so up and down. But there's a ton of variables. Heat, water usage, a lot of different things. If water sets in a pipe for a long time, the chlorine is going to start to degrade. It just happens. Anytime it attacks anything or it's using to disinfect, it uses it up. So you're getting less reading. So I got to constantly mess with the chlorine pump to get where we need to be. I'm trying to get that all figured out so there's less complaints of Clorox smell in the water and your issue. If I can get permission to set up a normal flushing schedule, or what's been done in the past, in the minutes, he was flushing once a week. Well, was he flushing every hydrant in town? Was he
No, it was
flushing one?
just up here
That
and one.
that was brought up in the last meeting,
Yeah, it's that
somebody
Charles.
thought we were flushing too much.
Well, Gunther, yeah,
He
he
didn't
said
have the
that
right
was,
information, I don't think, because Gito was not flushing every hydrant.
no, he just
No,
was
he
doing this
picked and
up here at
choose a
this
couple
end
favorite
because it was so
ones and-
bad. Just one, and he was doing it every week, and he told him no, just once a month.
Yeah, because
Well,
no time in the last 3 years has any hydrant been flushed by me or down by my house by Gito. Either Shane or Freddie goes over and cracks it open when their water gets bad.
Maybe it just wasn't
And,
done right,
they-
so,
I don't see a problem in that,
No.
well, they're not supposed to.
I know.
I say you get your schedule, whatever, you know.
Okay, I want to be able to flush every hydrant in town once a month.
Because, yeah, because I don't think ours has been flushed. Well,
And
he
I
has
think
here
once a
while
flushing
back, but
schedule gets started,
used
you
to-
won't have to have
well,
each one of them open as
see it
long
night.
as.
Right,
it's every
right,
so
that's
many
what
months.
that's what I was gonna tell you, the one at Linda's, I've done it once a week since I started, and the first time I got the black oily water for like 5 minutes. The next week, I got it for about a minute. Yeah, no, this morning, I cracked it open again, and we got it about 35, 40 seconds.
So it's getting better.
So, the amount of time, I don't know where this stuff is coming. I had Mike Adams over here today. We were trying to figure out if there was some valves we could open or close to maybe get water to move a different direction to clean that out or not have, it settle in one place as bad. He told me to run the water tower over to start with.
James,
Some of that.
if you go down to Shane Davis's.
Yes.
To the garden water, it's not connected to a meter. I think it is, but I mean.
It is.
Yeah, I'm like,
But
yeah, it is.
he doesn't use it, but if you open that up, that will flush a lot of it out. They just open it up and let it run.
There's not a flow.
You don't have anything hooked up to it, I don't think. Last I knew, his outside hydrant was broke.
Yeah.
I
But if
think
you open it up,
It might, but if I took that
Should be able to
meter
open it up
out,
at the water house.
isn't that sealed off?
huh?
The well is, but I think there's an opening down there.
Open a valve, let backflow out?
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be the one to do, not a meter pit, because you wouldn't get the volume or the flow
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I think there's still an opening
There's
down there
still
they talked
what?
about
Opening where?
at the well house.
Why would there be an opening that's plugged?
There had to be somewhere
Yeah,
for the water to
they
go.
plugged the well, but not the pipe that used to come up to the tower.
That
I
pipe-
just know that they went down and opened it, and they got a lot of,
Okay,
they
I'll
let
check
a lot of
that
water
out.
run through it.
Okay, well, I'm working on the water, it's my main
Take your
concern.
time.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Water quality and clarity and making people happy with water is my main concern. Safety of the water. Everybody needs a safe and efficient and reliable sewer system. I need to flush the sewer system. I'm gonna be working on that, getting that set up.
And that can be done while flushing the hydrants.
Right, that's why I'm gonna talk to the fire department, get a couple of hoses to where I can reach certain manholes from fire hydrants and flush. Instead of wasting water right into the ditch, I can use it to flush the sewer system at the same time. Which
Yeah, we're not eroding the roads away.
they should be flushed once a year, and from people I've talked to, mechanically cleaned every 2 years. Now, I don't think that's ever happened here.
Not
I
even
haven't,
back in the day.
I know Cheeto flushed a few, sewer manholes, because I helped him a couple of years ago, but other than that, I don't think it's been done, so I need to get that set up and implemented. The weeds at the sewer pond, I need to spray. I bought a sprayer. I bought a weed eater. And it's good quality equipment. It will be maintained and taken care of. I'm gonna get an inventory list of the tools and equipment that the city does have and make that available to everybody, because when I took over, there's nothing left in that.
No, we
maintenance
expected
plan.
that.
Yeah.
Well, you were there, you saw it.
Yeah. I knew-
Trash and, I mean, there's some things I could probably salvage.
There was
some
more
parts.
canned goods in there than tools.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
right.
Zero tools, which brings me to the mower. When I hired on, it was down at All Seasons getting repaired. They replaced a pulley and 2 belts. It was like $230 or $240, plus me going to pick it up and haul it back.
That's something he could have done.
Well,
Something I could have done.
I don't know, I got less than 10 hours on it and the same
Yeah.
belt went out. Again, I don't know the issue.
Then that needs to be addressed with all seasons.
well, yeah, and I think, that, you know, with these mowers, I've heard people talking around town of, him and what he was mowing with those mowers. Things you shouldn't not, you know.
Yeah.
So he's tore it up. You know, I think we need a,
I would recommend to the council to talk to All Seasons, or allow me to, or whatever, talk to them to see if we're gonna be responsible for paying to fix this again, because I don't know if they found the problem and fixed it.
Well, it sounds like there's another bad pulley, a bad bearing causes vibration.
Well, what it is it's a constant drive belt, as far as I can tell. And when you push the pedal to make it move forward, it puts a tensioner pulley against the belt, and it pulls it tight against the rear drive.
There's gotta be one
Terrible
other
design.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't last. That mower is very slow. It doesn't turn very well.
I think with what you have to mow, you need a bigger, better quality mower. period.
We
We should have bought one.
We talked about trying to get a zero turn or
Right.
a grasshopper when we bought this one, but we ended up buying this
I
one.
would like to get the permission to see about, there's 2 other mowers that are in there. There's a John Deere tractor that is not running, that's beat, that the city's had for years.
Yeah,
And
the old one.
And the old zero-turn Cub Cadet, which is
Needs a new
beat.
deck.
Well,
Needs a lot.
It runs though, doesn't it?
I haven't even tried.
See,
I don't want to waste my time.
last I knew is the deck was just
All
completely
the tires
shot.
were dry rotted on it, and the deck was shot, and there there wasn't a point in firing it up. But I wanna see if All Season will take those 3 mowers in on trade on
Something bigger and better.
a
and
nicer
industrial.
zero turn. Now, I kept track of my time when I mowed the park with that tractor out of curiosity. And it took me about 2.5 hours to mow both parks with that tractor. And I went up there the other day with my personal mower, it was a Friday, and 51 minutes I had them both mowed with a zero turn.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I didn't have to go back and weed eat, because with the zero turn, you can get 99% of everything.
Then I mean, I don't have a problem with that. You know, if they'll take them and what we got and whatever.
It'd be nice to get a
see-
front
check it out.
deck. Is yours a belly deck or a front deck zero turn?
It's a belly deck. Front decks, you're talking 3 times as much money, Jason.
It's
Well,
something
I've
that's
seen-
gonna,
I've seen some grasshoppers dirt cheap on Marketplace that are used.
Yeah.
But man, we got parts right down in Mountain Ridge. It's, you know, and if we probably don't, you know, a person has to look, maybe we don't even need the front deck one.
I don't think you need a front
I
deck.
think it's
That's more
whatever
for mowing
you-
under things.
Whatever you're
you get a
satisfied
big,
with.
yeah, if you get one that's good, that's gonna last a long
Do you want a
time.
commercial grade
Check-
mower or a homeowner grade
You
mower?
want a
Commercial grade, it's
Okay.
gonna
Heavy
last
deck.
you longer.
We're
yes.
talking probably
Heavy
between
deck.
$2,500 to
Yep.
$3,500
But it's,
maybe.
but it's
So
worth
it's
the
worth
money.
And
It's
if
worth the money
if it's
in the long run.
maintained, it will
It's
better
gonna
us
last.
well down the road.
And then the tractor with the,
The blade, bush hog.
that, yeah, lost me.
I don't know the condition of that bush hog. I went to hook it up and get it going, and the drawbar was missing from the
See,
tractor.
Okay.
we were told by the previous city guy it was trash too.
So you'll
but-
look into that too, though, I mean,
I can check that brush hog out.
because you can't mow everything with the other one, so you can't.
Pretty much, if it's mowable, yeah, you can. If not, you don't want to be,
As long as you maintain it.
right,
No,
you don't
they
want to
used
be
to
in the
mow
damn
the-
rocks.
They used to mow the sewer pond with the sickle mower, and it's still down there, but,
No, the sickle mower's over here behind the.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I seen
Yeah,
it the other day.
I would say go ahead.
Check with Joe or Herb, because Joe just bought that new lawnmower.
Yeah, I seen that.
It's a Toro.
I don't know what kind it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, both of them
They
are.
got it from All Seasons.
Yeah,
See
that's-
what they,
What kind of
maybe
deal,
they already
just see
told
what
you
kind of
they
deal
paid
you can
for
get.
it.
Yeah, I
But,
don't know.
you know,
Well, I will check into it.
because
And,
it's a big one, it's a 60-inch.
and it's okay, the council's okay with trading them other 3 mowers off if
Yes.
they take them?
Yes,
Yeah, 'cause
They
they
need
ain't
out
gonna,
of that
they ain't gonna,
shed
they ain't gonna
anyway.
give you much.
No, but every little bit helps.
Well, if they
That
get,
Cub Cadet probably has a little bit of value, that old John Deere, they're probably gonna give you,
nothing maybe, I don't know, but
Get some.
if
Yeah.
we advertise for bids or try to sell them, I don't think we
well,
get
see,
anything
that's,
out of them.
No, but scrap
that's
metal.
the thing, do we have to put them up for bid?
Not if you're trading them in on something, I don't think.
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't think so. It's
Well,
like buying a vehicle, you're making a bid to buy the vehicle wherever you buy it at.
and
It's
I
not
would
matter what
agree,
you
but
trade
it's
it
one
in.
thing to think versus what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Well,
they're
but you
not
make a bid
titled,
for the new car.
they're not titled,
I just didn't know being city property, how that works. I know what we have to do on the vehicles, we have to offer them up.
well, I'm gonna haul a load of scrap metal down and I'm not
That'll
offering that
probably
up
be one
for
of it,
bid.
yeah. Yeah, and I agree, there
Stuff
ain't gonna be no
like
interest
that.
in them. People don't know the condition of them.
I don't know the condition, other than looking at them, I would not.
Yeah, I see,
wouldn't purchase
if
them.
we could knock a couple $100 off, I say go for it.
Okay, I will check into that and, maybe tomorrow I'll go down and get a new mower. And, another thing, just real quick, I'm not gonna go into depth on it. A couple citizens have approached me about culvert issues. Fox over here.
Yeah.
Colleen Fox, she said she was upset about Gito. It took 2 years cleaning out a culvert over there. He finally did, and now water just pools there. It still won't run. I went and looked at it, and she's absolutely right. It's a mosquito trap on
Well, yeah, he cleaned them out, but didn't clean the ditch out, which,
And here's the
well, he
thing,
cleaned the west side out,
not the east.
but not the east, and water flows from the west through the culvert and then down Terry Donnelly's. I need to go over there. I'm gonna clean it out. It's not a council issue.
No.
I'm just bringing it to your attention to say, I'm gonna start handling these issues and just take
Mike,
care of
I
it.
got a question. Is, we need to have, we have a ditch issue around town.
Yes.
So we have a water flowing, all that. All right, are you, do you dig ditches? Do you
Yes.
know how to dig proper
Yeah.
ditches? Can you get the water going so we can start rebuilding the roads? Because a lot of these culverts don't flow
Right.
anyhow.
There's gonna
but
be a lot of angry citizens, because
They're-
they're nice grass ditches are
They're
gonna
gonna
be.
go away, but that's, you know, they can't have their cake and eat it
But
too.
look,
So
even where you
that's-
lived, on the west side of your property, how much did you mow?
I mowed everything out to the street.
Well, that's
that
what I
you
wanted
did?
to,
You mowed the street.
Yes.
I wanted,
you mowed the
I wanted to
street that was
know
supposed to
because
be
of,
gravel.
I was gonna talk with Michael O'Hare in the county about coming and, you know, because people are complaining because we're not doing anything, but we can't do anything until we get the water
Right.
flow.
Well, I say,
So
let's
if you
see
are-
what James does.
Yeah, if you are comfortable with that, then we're good with that. And I
Yeah,
just
it don't
needed-
take a rocket scientist. Hell, any one of us could hop on that grader and play around for a couple
Well,
hours.
and,
No, I
but
think
these,
not.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
But-
It's levers and,
yes, okay,
Yeah,
then I'm
I'm-
good with that.
I'm gonna get that grader up and going.
Okay.
I tried starting it the other day, the battery was dead. City doesn't have a battery charger. I do. I don't have a problem bringing my stuff down to use,
if we
just-
need it,
but I'm taking it home.
if
Just
we
get-
need it, yeah.
I'm not gonna leave a shop full of my stuff down there to have
Yeah,
it
you
stolen.
shouldn't have to.
But, and you shouldn't have to use your own equipment too, so if there's something we need, like a battery charger, let us know and we'll, you know, let us know what we need.
I need a chlorine tester, according to a couple people. They
That's what's in that book.
want us to get a new chlorine tester that is not shaking stuff in a little bottle and trying to.
Right. Proper one,
Digital.
Yes, it is expensive.
up to date.
It's about $450.
Yeah,
Now-
but is it more, it's more accurate, and it's up
It's
to date.
100% accurate.
Now, that's out of these catalogs, and I've been in maintenance situations, these catalogs are expensive. I've
Right.
looked online for an
I'm gonna
equivalent.
get with Mike Adams and Charlie and Tesket and find out where they got theirs cheaper, if we can order one.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm sure somewhere you can get that for probably a third of the price.
Mike.
You're not
wants to
gonna get
know-
it at
You know, I-
I'll say
Third.
500.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, you know, we need one, and it's, no, you're not
And
gonna
it
go
works.
out
It
of
works
control,
You
so,
know, 'cause
yeah.
I replaced the intake manifold on my car that was gonna cost me $400. I got one for $135, the exact
Right,
same
okay.
thing.
Another issue, Linda down on the corner of Christie and Third, Gito put a culvert in for a driveway for her on Christie Street.
Yeah, and we weren't supposed to.
It is,
With
I
tires.
didn't measure it, and I'm sorry that I don't have a measurement for the width.
Oh, the-
She says it's too narrow. And it's too
Well,
high.
we had actually, remember when that was put in, Gito put a smaller one in.
No, that's a
No, that's not the
different
right
house,
place.
different lady.
There's another one on Christie?
Yeah,
This is
right
the house
there,
on
Linda on the corner.
right across from my driveway.
It's slicing her tires.
The problem is she's turning too short.
Okay.
It is a narrower culvert.
But it's been there for,
A couple months, Gito put it in a couple months ago.
I guess I never noticed it.
She never,
When he
oh,
dug the ditch, out,
because,
when
yeah,
you guys had to
Yeah,
dug
see,
the water so they
we're
could
not,
get
we're not
through.
supposed to interfere with Jiffy Creek. That's a water system.
well, no, it's a matter of the water flow down the road, and he could dig it, you know, the ditch there, but there's nowhere, because there's no
But you
culvert,
guys
so
told
he
him
had
to
to put a
open the
culvert.
ditch down Christie, so that,
Yes.
Kathy and they weren't getting flooded. He opened that ditch, well, when he opened that ditch, all they had there was just dirt. They
Yeah,
didn't
low
ever have a
water,
culvert
yeah.
in there at all,
But
anytime.
that's not a cross Jiffy Creek.
No.
The water that comes in front of my house and goes under that box culvert comes on the east side of the street.
Yeah.
Jiffy Creek comes down the alley and comes out at the corner by Kathy Pilcher's house.
Yeah.
So if we could put a longer culvert in at more expense, because what has happened, they're turning a corner too
Just not taking it wide enough.
Well, yeah, they're not going out wide enough, and the tire has slipped off the edge of this metal culvert a couple times,
Well-
I guess, and cut the tire.
So,
She's upset that the culvert that was put in is too narrow, not wide enough.
what is a
driveway.
standard width on a driveway culvert? Is there a set
I
standard?
don't know, but I talked to her tonight, she was at the meeting, but she
Mm-hmm.
decided she
6
couldn't
foot
stay here.
minimum.
Right,
I told her I would find out what you guys want to do. She said she either
I
wants
didn't
it
even know what was
lowered.
put in.
she doesn't, it's, you know, and here's the deal, is that is the city's property,
Mm-hmm.
so it's what, yeah, you know, we can't cut her short and we can't make it so she doesn't have access to her driveway.
It is long enough to get a vehicle through there.
Then, if it's a matter of she just needs to make a wider turn, then that's what she needs to do, but it's.
Well, it's
it's a-
my sister, and she won't even pull her car in there over it at all.
Then that's her
Marlene won't even go in
choice,
there because of it.
that's her choice. I
It's-
mean, I don't
it
know
is
how,
tight.
how wide was the driveway before?
There was no culvert there.
But there, so it's just flat land?
Yeah, pretty
All
much
right.
flat land.
But then we need to find out what the general width is, is there a set width that it has to be?
What I wanna do is pull that culvert out.
But if, at the cost of our cost, I mean, it's the city's property, so yes, but just because,
Now, is this on the Jiffy
It's not
Creek side
good.
or the east side?
It's on the west side, but Jiffy Creek
Just-
doesn't.
Oh, it's before,
Yes.
okay.
just
gotcha.
because she doesn't,
That's
is
at
not
her expense.
comfortable.
That's at her expense.
Yeah, just because she's not comfortable pulling in there, we put one in there because that's what we need it to do. We need the water to flow, so we put a culvert in there, it's in the right of way, it's the city's property, that's what we do. If the person is not, I mean, they have to have access
wanna
to their
change,
property,
they
we
need to
can't
pay
cut
for
them
it.
off from that. But if it's,
It didn't need to be put in.
if you
Yeah,
put a ditch
exactly.
there, it did, to walk for water to flow.
There's not a ditch there. It goes up.
Yeah,
She either wants a wider one or.
So then why don't we
lower
just
down.
take it, then why do we have the culvert in there to begin with?
That's what I don't
So
understand.
just pull it out and fill it with dirt?
That's
Cheaper
what I
thing.
was saying, I just wanna pull it out of there.
I
Oh,
will.
all right, because I mean, I'm
I
like,
just-
if
I
it's a
wanna-
matter of buying another
But
one,
how
no.
much trouble is that gonna cause with the water hydrant right here?
Nothing.
Shouldn't.
If water, as long as water flows and not on the road, because once you start digging ditches and you build up the road, the water,
Right.
I don't have a
That's
problem with
another-
taking it out.
Another thing I need to, where we're talking on
I'm
that.
gonna take
city-
it out and later, if it becomes an issue, we'll figure something out.
There you go.
And while we're talking on that city block, it just reminded me, we need to send another one of multiple letters, I think, to Robbie Robinson, as far as blocking that alley.
Oh, down there by.
Billy lives there now.
Billy.
Robbie doesn't live there.
Okay. That, we've sent letters before, he's got a
Down
trailer
by
parked there, and by the time Judy Ryan gets hurt in her backyard and needs an ambulance,
Yeah.
we get
They
sued.
can't get down there.
We get
Yeah,
sued.
you can, it's not, it's a
We're
alley, it's
blocking-
unless it's been vacated,
Yeah,
it's
we're-
a city property. you
Yeah,
can't
we're
park there.
blocking utility and emergency
So then I
vehicles.
guess, if we've already sent the letter,
I
then we
think
need to
call
call
Spears.
Spears
Well,
and
we
have
sent
them
it,
come
but Billy wasn't there when we sent the letter.
Okay, then send another one and tell them they got X amount of days,
out. And at the end
and
of
it needs
that
to be
X
done
amount of days,
ASAP.
well, we need to decide how many days he gets, because if he's already been sent a letter.
Well,
cut it
whatever,
off.
he's got a truck and he's got the trailer there with the tires there, that we figure how many days does that take that letter to get to him?
Well, give him
So
Give-
give
give
him
him- give
10
him-
days from the letter, date of the letter,
I wouldn't give him that much, but that'll work.
and then if he doesn't, call Jared Spears and have him haul it off. It's yeah.
Because even 10 days is a stretch, I'd say 3 days from the time you send it.
Yeah, but you
know,
gotta-
Or call
Send it
it,
Yeah, I
send it
understand.
registered letter. I'd send it registered letter to, because
Gotta
then this
find
way
out.
we know he got it.
That's true.
He works nights, so
I don't care.
All right, are there any other questions for me on maintenance?
No.
Anybody have any questions or concerns or
Getting a
anything
battery
they
for
want
the
me to
truck?
see? Yeah, I need a battery for the pickup too.
Oh,
We
I've
could
tried
go
charging
out
it.
up to $500.
I know, I bought a weed eater and a sprayer, now we're getting close to 500,
we
so.
got another month.
we're good.
Yeah.
This
You
started.
get it.
Well,
It's
and
good.
this mower's gonna be more than 500.
You
but-
got it,
Yeah.
but that's
Also, you
different.
gotta have a
That's
battery for
different.
the
What, the-
pickup.
the city
too.
pickup?
Yeah.
City pickup,
Is the voltage regulator any good?
I don't know, I tried charging the battery two
Oh, it won't
different
even
times.
charge?
It won't- It stays running, so I know the alternator's running.
Just-
But once you
Just
shut
get
it
a
off,
new
it's
one.
done.
Check the body ground. There's 2 grounds on those. You got your battery
It's an
ground and
ancient
then,
battery. It
You
needs-
could just.
it might be, if it is, it's shot, but I know if the body ground is loose, and it runs from the negative wire right to the fender.
Right.
If that one is disconnected, you will never charge a battery.
If you're gonna let him spend this kind of money, you guys are gonna have to make a motion saying he can do it.
Yes.
To buy a battery?
No, the mower.
Oh, I make a motion that James be
Mower
allowed.
and
Okay, I make a motion that James be allowed to purchase a new mower.
I
Under-
second
Trade
it.
it,
Under what price range?
Within reason.
under 6,000.
Yeah,
Thank
Okay.
you.
the, what?
I second.
6,000.
Thank you. Well, hopefully have it
Oh,
tomorrow. if
I
have
second.
my spot.
Who seconded?
Then moved and seconded that we can let James have authority to go buy a new lawnmower.
And I'm
Anybody
available in
opposed?
favor.
Somebody raise your right hand, vote, right?
up with any citizen or the water or sewer or anything, feel free to contact me and, unload.
Okay.
A minor bitch, and you know this has been addressed before, the limestone in my alleys is getting further
I'll
and
handle
further out.
that, I'll handle that.
He did good for a while, and I was, but it's past those utility poles, it's in the city.
I'm gonna go over there.
And that actually needs to be a little straightened up if you ever get a chance. When her sewer was put in, there was a couple sinkholes and stuff, and
My sewer?
hers.
Yeah.
Need to make a
Oh,
motion.
yeah, no.
And
That's where-
Christie Street residents, that's their driveway because of Jiffy Creek.
Mm-hmm, I know.
And I'm not, whenever.
That's why I was trying to get the grader going, and
That's what I
I
say.
was gonna do it with the tractor, but the drawbar was gone.
I need
Hey,
to make a-
yeah,
we
take
need to
that-
make another
Make a motion
motion.
on
Take that
this.
grader and wipe it all the way down.
I
to
make a
its
motion that
utilities.
James be allowed to buy a water meter, a water tester
I second it.
for under, I don't know,
Well, find out what you,
600. You can get a good one. I mean, just keep it under.
yeah, just try to get the cheapest one you can that does the same
You
quality.
have no problem with him being frugal
You
or
second?
trying to get the best.
I'm gonna
get this
meter wherever
I can get it the
seconded.
cheapest.
Okay.
In case you didn't hear me.
Yeah, Kim did too.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Good.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. James gets a meter for testing water under
Oh,
$500. Raise your hand, vote
All-
4-0. And,
That's all I have, thank you.
You
Next
can't
council
make
meeting.
it.
I make
next
a
council
motion.
meeting.
Hey, can I address the council just real quick?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I know you guys hate me for this. We do have a code violation tonight, though.
What happened now?
When you went into, well, a couple of them. When you went into executive session, you did not give a start time or.
I know, we thought about that when
She
we
did
got.
mention that.
Okay, and then another thing is, I was actually advised of this. When a vote is to happen, it is to happen in open session.
A what?
The actual vote is to happen in open
Yeah,
session.
and Jennifer told us that and we forgot.
Yeah, so I just thought I wanted you guys to be aware. And
Yeah.
one thing I'd really recommend is having a Common Core presentation. I really want to.
Well, I think it'd be nice for somebody to come in here, or we'd be able to get a hold of somebody to,
Mona and David Gertzman is a great contact.
I think they've been put on before on
And there it comes.
docket and haven't showed up yet.
Yeah.
We can get somebody to come in. We'll have-
Jennifer O'Hare has an
Yeah, we'll have
amazing-
Jennifer come and maybe just,
And I think that is something that we all need to brush up on and
you know,
not,
'cause we could just, read and, we
Yeah.
realize that. after
yeah, we don't
the
do
fact.
anything intentional.
No, I know. That's why I'm trying to.
What's
bring it
this,
to you guys.
lunch for the Cole family?
Frank Cole passed away. He used to
Yeah.
live here, up here on the
Oh.
hill, and they're having his funeral dinner
The dad?
Saturday.
Is that the dad?
Yeah,
Oh.
They need some donations of food.
When is this?
Saturday.
Yeah, nobody wants
The
to.
I'll
12th.
try to see what I can do.
Make
And
food?
then they're looking for desserts or salads.
You can't cook.
And then they're having a memorial service for Harold, my brother. He lost his son last month. And they're having one on Sunday here from 12:30 to 4.
What?
Memorial for for Harold's
For
son.
Braun. Yeah, I know.
What
where
happened?
that-
He passed away.
Well, he said something and I'm like, oh, that's nice. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that's what he said.
yeah.
So
He
now
passed
it's
away about a month ago. They had one out in California. He lived in California. He hadn't lived around here for several years. He's from Plainville, but Harold's having,
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
okay, it's been moved and seconded.
They don't
All in
want,
favor?
All in
they don't
favor,
want any
raise your hand.
potato salad.
Huh?
I told them they don't want any potato